nameless in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up.
Hey, wrestling card collectors! Welcome to another edition of WTCtv, and I know that I'm pretty stoked about this one. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. I'm very, very happy to have Billy from Upper Deck to join Mr. Paul Riot Price Guide and WTC and talk about some AEW product, man. How are you today, Billy?
Doing great. Got up, got some food, and I'm ready to talk wrestling cards.
I figured it'd be good to have Paul from the Price Guide here, because Paul and WTC, I mean, his website and our website, we work hand in hand for years now. You know, he offers the pricing information, and you know, we offer checklist information, and we work together trying to put together a lot of the checklist and all the information about every release that's coming out. And when your guys' stuff first made news of coming out, we were all over this, going like, we got to work together. We got to get this done. We got to get this checklist put together. Just a lot of cool stuff coming out. And now that it's out, what's the feedback been for you guys, Upper Deck? You know, what's the feedback been?
You know, the buzz has been there, like you said, for quite some time. People were waiting, and you know, right now with vendors being able to print stuff, it's delayed a lot of stuff. So that kind of built up the anticipation even more for this set to come out. And you know, even in the process, we built a few preview cards. And, you know, when we first put out that Punk preview card and saw how popular it was, we realized, you know, this is going to be something special. And so we kind of got ready for it. And when it finally came out, you know, I saw a lot of excited people getting cards for the first time of some of their favorite wrestlers, a lot of positive feedback, you know. And we can kind of go into the buildup of the set coming out, but as of right now, we've heard a lot of good things. People are really enjoying the secondary market on this, and you know, as I said, I think we built an amazing product with some really cool designs, some really cool inserts, and it's gone over quite well with the public.
I know one of my favorites is after opening it up, I love the pyro and the dynamite stuff. That stuff is just so freaking awesome. It shines. I mean, it's just such a cool thing. It shimmers. My wife, who's not even into wrestling at all, looks at it and goes, "These are pretty." She just thought they were pretty. And I just think they're awesome. So, you know, Paul, I mean, what's your favorite part of this product?
Well, let me say, Billy, first of all, congratulations to you and Upper Deck on your first release. Fantastic addition to the wrestling card community and history. I'm a master collector. I've been collecting since day one, and I have probably every set that's ever come out or close to it. So I was quite excited to see AEW come to the mix, and we spoke about this on our monthly show. I'm loving it. You know, I'm one of the guys that's just happy to have the product, and I know it's early days. There's going to be a lot more of it open, and you guys are going to be putting more stuff out. But I think that everything top to bottom, the way you guys did this was fantastic. So congratulations from the wrestling card community.
Thank you so much. And it's not just, you know, it's not just me. I have amazing designers. I have, you know, coordinators that help me with the checklist. I have, you know, and just the support from the higher ups. You know, it's you know, along with AEW and you know, our even all the way up to our president. You know, we've had a lot of feedback and a lot of positive you know, feedback from those guys also.
Awesome.
What has been your relationship with AEW? How is that work? You know, is there like a lot of roadblocks? Is it really easy to work with? I mean,
they're impossible. No, I'm joking. They have been probably one of the best licensors I've dealt with. You know, we deal with a lot of different you know, licenses. AEW has been nothing but supportive. They have been, you know, they are active in wanting this to be an amazing product. It's not just like, hey, can you build us some cards and then we put it out there? You know, they're kind of involved with a lot of the decision-making process that comes with this. You know, they have, you know, approvals of designs and insert names and photos and stuff. And they're really, you know, on the ball. They're like, hey, you know, this is kind of an outdated photo. Can you possibly, you know, put maybe a more recent, you know, face paint of this wrestler? You know, they're really involved, but it's not like they're bothered. It's not like in an annoying way. They're so passionate about it, and it makes us, you know, want to build an even better product for them. But anything that you've asked for from them, they've gone above and beyond. I mean, when we talked about, and I had mentioned that CM Punk card, we mentioned it to them. They're like, yeah, get it going. We'll do a commercial. We'll do a spot on the show. We're like, what?
Yeah,
It was like the
we've
next
spoken
day,
about that.
they had a spot ready for us.
We've spoken about that, Billy, how AEW themselves have been advertising it on the show, and to the point where JR breaks commentary and starts talking about the trading cards he enjoyed as a kid. And we can just say, just because we follow this stuff since the beginning of time, Topps and WWE have never done that. There's never been any other business, never mind something on their flagship show during prime time talking about this product is out with a graphic, and then the actual announcers talking about the product. I mean, that speaks to your point about how behind AEW must have been with this release, because we've never seen that before at all in the hobby.
They get it. I don't know how else to put it. They get it. They understand what they have to do. And, I don't know how much revenue technically we make for them, but I'm sure they make a lot more for attendance and a lot more for merchandise and stuff like that. But even something like trading cards, they're putting 100%, 110% into, making it the best that it can be.
That's very refreshing for us to hear that from you guys, because as you know, the guys that had the license for the WWE product up until very recently didn't adopt that approach, unfortunately. And, after you make 2 to 100 sets, all of a sudden you wane a little bit, and you lose sight of the collectors and what it is you're trying to accomplish with each release. So if this is indicative of where you guys in AEW are going, it's going to be just great for the hobby, no doubt about it.
Definitely opening up a whole nother set of new eyes on this product, because we're seeing a lot of new first timers in this business, in this hobby, collecting AEW cards, wrestling cards, period, who never collected cards before, now interested in it. You mentioned from a merchandise standpoint, something else that was never been done before at any wrestling events in the past. Is it possible that we might see, if I go to a live event, will I see stuff, trading Upper Deck cards at the merch table?
We hope so. This was the first set, and there's, they might have, blaster boxes available. I'm not sure about hobby packs, but I'm sure in the future there'll be stuff. They're looking for stuff to have at their merchandise stores. And another thing that we've done with them is, we've worked with them on a lot of UDA items also, with the autograph pictures and memorabilia. Mm-hmm. So you might be seeing some of those sort of items at their merch store also at shows.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really good, because I've never seen that before. I mean, even dating back to, even, the Attitude Era days when wrestling was really, on fire. Comic Images having the license, and you just didn't see it. You didn't see it. There was nothing, no advertising for it. I mean, the closest I ever got to seeing an advertisement for anything trading card related when it came to wrestling was that old WWE Raw deal game. They did a Spanish version of a commercial for it down in South America. That was it.
We're aware of print ads over the years, like the Stomp collection and the early All-Star series.
Sure.
I don't know if you're familiar with these names, Billy, but in the sort of history of wrestling trading cards, there have been in wrestling magazines, but again, very specific, not mainstream like what AEW is doing with you guys. So that's certainly, Tony just mentioned it, that there's a lot of new eyeballs coming to the hobby, and we can sense that. We're communicating with new people that have never bought wrestling before, and that's strictly through your efforts, combined with AEW and the love for their product. But it was a long time coming, this set. Now that it's here, it's a watershed moment for our hobby. It really is, because it's your inaugural release, and it just speaks to where things are going. And wrestling's growing. We're getting more and more eyeballs, more and more people into the hobby every day. So it's just fantastic what you guys have done.
I think when the hobby kind of started exploding a couple of years ago, a lot of people during COVID started refocusing back on their card collections, and everything became big. I think one of the first licenses or group things that they switched from sports, then all of a sudden people went to wrestling, and you saw people going back looking for those old Hulk Hogan, rookie card. Like, they were looking for every rookie card you could think of. And I think wrestling was one of the first ones, that it was like gaming and Pokemon and stuff, and then, wrestling cards. So, there's a big market out there for it. And our goal is to grow that market. There's a lot of untapped potential, I believe, in the wrestling card market.
Do you have people at Upper Deck in the marketing or research department that actually goes out and tries to determine what the market is for this kind of product? Because wrestling, we sit sort of in that sweet spot between sports cards and non-sports cards, and we're sort of in both worlds. But we're smaller than a lot of other sports, obviously, and there's even non-sport like Star Wars and things like that are bigger than us. But we're curious. We're trying to get a sense of how big our market is. We certainly know it's growing. But do you have anyone at Upper Deck that sort of tries to get their head around that whole situation?
We have guys that look at like my boss, the gentleman that's Grant Sandground's in charge of product development. He used to work for Beckett Magazine. He was one of the top guys that looked at market values for Beckett Magazine and has been with Upper Deck now, I believe, for about 10, 11 years. So he is one of those guys that definitely looks at market value and stuff. And even our president, he used to be a brand manager at Upper Deck, Jason Mashra. And like, he's very passionate about this set, or these sets coming out in this license. So he's done, I've gotten text messages from him Saturday and Sunday night, just going over some of the, wrestling values and cards and stuff, and what might be the next thing to do. So we've got people that definitely look into it, and and then we have our finance people who kind of determine, like, okay, what are hobby shops, how many cases and stuff are hobby shops looking for, how many do our retail Walmart and Target and other retail outlets, are they how much are they looking to purchase and stuff like that. And they have years and years of experience of dealing with that, not just with sports, but with non-sports. We have a Marvel license. Yep. We have smaller licenses like Team Canada or CHL, stuff like that. Yep. So they do a really good job of evaluating, how much bill. We don't want to oversaturate the market, but we also don't want to make it that the fans can't get cards.
Yeah, price point wise like that. Let's talk about a little bit about price point wise on this now. I mean, we started off at one price point. What do you attribute to this, huge price point from beginning of pre-sale all the way to a launch, when it launched? I mean, it just took a life of its own.
I think people were just excited. One of the things I think people were excited about this was, as I had mentioned earlier, this is a set that has a lot of first cards for wrestlers, and so the whole excitement of rookie cards or first cards or whatever, there was a big hype about that. And so I think that kind of helped increase the value. And honestly, just right now, everything is that way, where there's a you could say an original SRP that people like the shops can originally buy it. And if you don't get in on that, it seems like because of supply and demand, it just keeps going up and up. And I'm not sure where along the chain that increase happens. That's not my job.
Yeah.
I don't deal with the finances. I do see the increase in prices, but I think it was just it was a great job of marketing by AEW, and I think we did a great job also. Mm-hmm. And I think just putting on a really nice product, and people were excited to see, or anticipating to see, some really nice cards.
Yeah, I was really happy that I jumped in. I mean, I still have some factory sealed boxes that I got for for my case. I actually bought a case, and I got in it at under $100 a box. So I was really happy because.
Is that a concern for you, Billy? The prices going up? Is that a concern for Upper Deck, that all of a sudden we're talking on our recap show that the average price now is about $250 a box. Yep. That's on the secondary market through eBay, and we anticipate that price is going to hold. Base sets and stuff that's been ripped open. As more stuff gets ripped open and more stuff is available, it comes down. But does Upper Deck sort of watch the pricing on that as well, or is that sort of not your concern? Once it's out, and whatever happens on the secondary market, it's just the laws of economics and supply and demand.
Well, we definitely still pay attention to it, but we still want to put out a product that, say the market isn't as crazy as it is right now. We don't want to all of a sudden then put this product out for $250 and then the market drops and people are like, why would I pay that much for this product? I will say, this is happening in all the sports. This is happening in, we even see it in with our hockey releases, with our Marvel releases. And you can look at the other sports, and I think the other sports are even more, I don't want to say outrageous, but the increase in prices just seems even greater in some other sports. And then finally, if you think this is expensive, I'm very intrigued to see what happens when Blue License, the new producer of WWE, when those cards come out, the sets that they're building, you can say it, I won't know.
Yeah,
but
I know.
When they come out with their first set, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah,
you kind of saw what happened with UFC.
Yeah, we were using UFC as kind of a gauge on that particular manufacturer's pricing point. So we would talk about that for months too, and we're kind of anticipating the prices for that. So when you kind of compare the two, I still feel that the AEW product is very affordable based on what you're getting. I think the seating, which is what I want to get into, the seating of the product is always been the question about what am I getting for what I'm paying for, and it's like that.
You justify opening up a box based on
justify opening a box versus just keeping a box sealed.
$250 a box, and that's going to go to $350 a box, and you know what you're likely to get and not get in the box. Are people going to not break them?
It's kind of why I went half.
We're going to have a lot of unopened
box.
boxes on the market, which is not uncommon in the wrestling world, Billy. That we end up having certain sets where collectors would rather sit on a sealed box than on opening it.
Yeah, I sent a half a case over to my partner from Worlds Collide podcast, and he's sitting on the entire 8 boxes, and I kept the other 8 boxes I have. I couldn't control myself. I had to open some, so I opened it, and I'm really happy that I did, because I love what I've gotten out of the pack. I didn't get any autographs out of my 3 boxes, but I'm super happy with all the stuff I got, and I'm keeping 3 boxes sealed just for long-term speculation on it, but. I'm trying to build some base sets because I'm going to be opening up a store here in Phoenix, as I've talked about many times before, and it's going to be a wrestling themed store. I want as many base sets as I can get, so I can go out there and get kids into the hobby. It's like that, and hopefully make it affordable to them and get more collectors. But the seating of the product is always seems to be like the number one concern for people who seem to be against the product, which I don't understand why they'd be. It's just a beautifully designed set, and that. Hey, well, what am I getting? There's not a lot of bang for my buck at this price point. It's like that. But, if you do hit something, it's more than worth your bang for the buck, because you're going to get something great. Secondary market is showing that. So what was the thought process and how you guys seeded this product?
First off, I understand the concern. I collected wrestling cards. I buy boxes. Like I was saying, I'm one of those guys that buys the boxes to try to get a full set, and then I'll try to get like cards autographed if I go to events and whatnot. And I initially was one of those guys that said, wait, we can't build this product without an autograph per box. There's it's cookie cutter. Like, this has been established,
It's almost like a level of expectation, it seems like, from the collectors almost,
100%. And you know what? We're just like, we want to set up a flagship that isn't necessarily dependent on autographs. It isn't dependent on memorabilia. We want to throw a lot of really cool technology out there. We want to be innovative. We want to make really nice designs. And, there'll be other sets. This isn't the only set that's going to come out each year. There's going to be we already have one other set that's built for technically 2021, but, it'll come out in 2022. And then we have 3 sets set up for next year already that have already been built. And so there'll be opportunity to get more autographs, to get memorabilia. This is kind of like our flagship. And if you look at some of our other flagship products, autographs aren't the main focus. Memorabilia is not the main focus. It's photography, it's designs, it's technology. And so, that came honestly from when I said we have knowledgeable people all the way up to the top. That came from our president, basically saying, I don't want it to have an autograph per box. It doesn't have to. We're upper deck. We don't necessarily do the norm. When we came out with baseball cards in 1989, it wasn't that 45-cent pack. It was like $3-4 a pack with this fancy paper and all this other stuff. And
which was unheard of.
We're kind of known for being innovative.
It was exactly.
So you know what? And then the other thing, and I've mentioned this other times, is, I did buy wrestling cards, and the value that you got back from some of those boxes, unless you hit like a big name, there were a lot of like really good wrestlers that their autograph cards have, since the value of them has kind of gone down, or, you know, is not where you would expect it to be for the level of wrestler that that person is. And memorabilia and mat cards, and same sort of thing. Like it's just kind of lost a lot of its value. And we've seen that in our sports cards where, you know, we've made boxes where you were guaranteed 2 memorabilia cards. And next thing you know, like, it costs a lot of money to make some of these memorabilia cards. It's like a laminated card. You have to swatch, they have to cut it, they have to put it in there. And then you're seeing those cards go into the dollar bin box. And it's just like, you know, why are we spending all this money for stuff that's just going to go in a dollar bin box? Let's, you know, again, kind of cut back, make these rare. And then the other things, when I said like innovation stuff, I've never seen like a shadow box card go into a wrestling product.
I just hit one of those, and I finally had one in my hand. I hit one of those on my last box I opened up, and I'm like, my wife says, I like these shadow box cards, these Wednesdays in Actions. I love these more than the actual, you know, ring worn gear stuff.
Yeah, and I thought it was like a kind of a cool addition to maybe add some of that. And then like, you don't see like this product, like, it's not on like little thin paper. It's, you know, it's got you know, it's got the UV on it that makes, you know, the little glossiness to it, makes it a little bit harder to get those cards signed. But yeah, sorry about that, because as someone that likes to get cards signed,
just rub it a little bit,
rub down the front of the card. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But you know, we wanted to make a nice looking card, and then, you know, we wanted to make a lot of parallels that just really look nice. And so we, you know, like you said, the pyro and the dynamite, you don't see a lot of shiny like parallels of the cards unless it's like a chrome style product, but you don't really see a lot of like rainbow foil board out there with patterns and colors. And then and we have our, you know, established exclusives in high gloss, which I've seen the exclusives going for some good money on the secondary market, and that brings even more value. It's nice when you can get value out of a card without having to put an autograph or memorabilia in it. Yeah. And I think we've done a really good job of that in AEW.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of higher prices on some of what would normally be considered lower level type chase. You know, you're seeing stuff even like, I mean, you're getting some good value based on even like your main features that are, you know, the silver parallels are getting, some of those are getting 15, 20, sometimes $25 a card.
Yep. And the upper,
you know,
the upper parallels are really killing it.
Yeah, they really are.
Down through your 25s or your 10s, those are the ones that are actually getting quite a bit more than the autograph cards.
Even your canvas cards, your high number canvas cards, right, you know, 31 and above, like that are yielding 50, $60 a card. You know, I mean, it's and those are just another staple of Upper Deck is having canvas card, which is so cool anyways. But now you have these short printed ones, and they're not autographed, they're not memorabilia, they're just a short print of a continuing series that is making the value pretty high on those. I love it. I'm a big fan of this product. The naysayers can be naysayers for those. I just think those are like just WWE hardcore elitists, but I think it's across the board from start to finish. I think all of it is a really fun product. I enjoy ripping boxes of that stuff when I can, and I'm going to be looking for retail stuff if I can to make more base sets. I'm not in it. I don't collect. I'm not a collector anymore like I used to be. I collect information. I collect stuff that I can put on the website for other collectors to know what they have and what they're looking for. And so for me to have a little bit of a thrill to open up a box or something like that, that's fun. I have no intentions of keeping any of it if I don't have to. If Paul needs something to finish the set off, or Chuckster needs something to finish, I just send it to him. But I'm having fun with this product. I think it's great.
Billy, you said flagship. In our world, flagship with Topps was always the yearly big release, like 2015, 2016. Yep. They started packing on something called Then and Now, which was part of flagship. And it seemed that the flagship, according to them, was their sort of big release of the year where they throw everything into the set, including the kitchen sink. And from what you're describing, you guys are approaching it a little bit differently. But when you say flagship, is it safe to assume that AEW 2021 was flagship, and then next year there'll be an AEW 2022 and so forth? Because that's how it worked. That's how it's worked up until now. The sort of year was the flagship set, and this has been called.
We plan on making it. Yes, we plan on making a set like this every year. You know, right. And then the other products will be kind of you know, we have a product called Spectrum coming out, which is more of our game. It's almost like a game use set where we have memorabilia, autographs, and it kind of feels like an SP game used sort of feel to it. And then next year we'll have a set similar to 2021 AEW, and then we'll have 2 other sets. And unfortunately, I can't talk about those yet, but they have been built. And
And when you mean built, you're talking about just they've been designed, because I mean the rosters can change and all that kind of stuff happens.
Oh,
so,
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
When I say built, yeah, it's about a 9 to 12 month process to create a set of cards. I basically start off with all the concepts of the inserts and the seating ratios and the memorabilia and autographs and what I want, and then you put that into what we call a costing. It goes to our finance department, and then once it hits approved numbers, then I do what's called I brief it. Basically, I write like it could be anywhere between 20 to 40 page brief on like, okay, each insert, what do I want from a checklist standpoint? What do I want from a design standpoint? What do I want from a photo standpoint? And I kind of go down the whole list and give like all the ratios and stuff on another part. And then I have a meeting with everybody in the office that, has their hand in it. Like I'll have a designer there. I'll have a photography person there. I'll have a checklist person there, our purchasing agents there, our legal departments there, making sure everything I do is okay. And then we go over the brief. And then once that happens, then the process starts. Then the designers start, kind of working on stuff, and we'll see a design and then another design, and kind of go from there until everything has been approved by the league and stuff. And then, while this is happening, our coordinators are working on the checklist, and, that, as you said, can kind of change throughout. And, we just had a checklist for one of our products for next year. AEW already looked at it and was just like, hey, can you change this person to this person to that person, and new images for this. And so
we saw that happen with this release too. We saw that happen with this release. I think
it's very
canvas
refreshing.
card number 8 came out. Like someone got swapped out, and you guys put Miro in there instead of whoever it was. Like
it's very refreshing to hear that you guys are putting so much care and thought into the process, though, which is nice. And so many people from disparate parts of the company are coming together to sort of give their feedback. And I think it just makes the product, a better release overall.
Yeah, I like that.
I've been the product manager now for the first 5 sets, and all the way through for all of 22. But we have 2 other product managers that are really big into wrestling also, and they finally are going to steal one or two of the products from me. I'll still have at least one of the sets, but we've got some passion. We've got some wrestling fans in our product development team, and they finally were able to pull a couple of the products from me. So there's a lot of people in the office, and I'm not just the only person coming up with ideas and stuff. I'll bounce ideas off of those guys, and they've done a great job helping me, create those stuff. Patrick and Tony up at Upper Deck, there are 2 other product managers, and they're just as passionate, and it's not even their products. Like, that's how crazy it is. They enjoy it that much also.
They're just wrestling fans, so they like it.
You got another one this year. Are we looking at end of summertime, or when do you guys expect a second release to be out before the end of the year? What's the target?
Unfortunately, I have excluded myself from giving out release dates, because I do that, and it always changes. It always changes on me, and I look stupid, and I get so excited about it when I hear a date, and I'm like, hey guys, it's coming out this day. Like, I was telling people, hey guys, the retail's coming out on Wednesday, and then I see all the message boards. They're like, I don't see any. I'm like, oh no, not again. But I guess it takes those guys a little bit of time to put the stuff on the shelves. Luckily, it was the right week, but it wasn't the right day. So I've given up. And it's not on our end. We have dates that we're trying to hit, and unfortunately, it's really tough from a vendor standpoint to get stuff out. With all the obstacles that the
Yeah,
world has
certainly
been giving us.
supply chain issues, COVID issues, you know,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Yep.
that set everybody up.
we know when you were slated, but then it was a few weeks delayed, and we talk about, well, we're sure this has nothing to do with Upper Deck. I'm sure the stuff is ready to go, and it could be a trucking issue, it could be a shrink wrapping issue, whatever it might be, you know, beyond your control. But that's something
Yeah.
that's happening across the board, I think, in business. So
And I would guarantee that, you know, our competitor products that you see a lot of like wrestlers that are no longer even on the show, you know, they probably had the same thing where they had everything ready a long time ago
Yep.
and have just been, and we're just waiting for vendors. And, you know, we're fortunate enough, you know, it's really new, but you know, that could be a potential problem down the road if you know, wrestlers are released or, you know, our new people come in. You know, that's why we did our preview cards, is so we could put like some guys that we knew should be in this set when it comes out. But unfortunately, it just everything was already built and ready to go. It just needed to get printed and packaged and sent out.
But
You
how
know,
did that happen then? If that's the case, and I get that, but then how did that happen with the CM Punk card that recently got pack pulled?
oh, that's called, those cards were printed before the product went out, and we might have said, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if we snuck a few CM Punk autographs in there also? And I said, I'm just, when your brand manager comes up to you and it's just like, hey, do you want any autographed Punk cards in this? Like, what do you think your answer is going to be?
Yeah.
Yes. And he's just like, I can get, and I'm not going to tell you how many. He's like, I can give you this many. I'm like, done, put it in there. And, you know, we did a great job of getting those out as quick as we could.
It came as a big surprise. People were like, have you first it was the promo card that got mistakenly sent out. That was, you know,
yeah, that was
the white thing. Yeah.
yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, this is a legit card now. This legit card was actually pack pull. Look what I found. And that's like, what?
Well, that was a big deal for
Yeah.
us because we knew that the cards were long since printed, and then all of a sudden AEW went and signed Adam Cole and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. So we're like, shit, too bad that they're not going to make the set. And sure enough, you guys figured a way around that through your Epack system and ultimately printing them out. So, and in fact, I think it worked out even better the way you guys did it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool for us because I didn't expect to see those guys in this release at all, and you guys figured out a way to make it happen.
It also opened the door for something that was new that most wrestling card collectors are not used to. They're not used to what Epacks are. They're not used to how that process works. I mean, Topps did something with their their Slam app, which like, God, there's some great designs. I wish I could get these made into actual cards. That wasn't part of that wasn't a deal. You guys have done something really cool with making these Epacks. Like, you can have them in digital form, and if you pay a little extra for some shipping costs and top loaders, we'll even, you know, print them out and ship them to you. I think it's amazing. I love that. I love that I have an opportunity to go online. I can't find something in my local store. You know, I'll spend $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, whatever it is, to go out and buy a pack of cards and take a shot. You know, it's fun.
Yeah, that was great the way that worked.
Yeah,
out.
you beat me to the Epack conversation.
I'm segueing.
You know, there's definitely going to be an Epack release on this, and you know, as you said, it's an opportunity for people, and this is what Epac's all about. It's the opportunity for someone that might not have a card shop by them to be able to get these cards. And one thing that we do is we're very conscious of our card shops. Like, there's a reason why it comes out a couple months after the original release. We want our card shops to be able to go out there to be the first ones to have it, to have it on the market, to sell it and everything. And then it's almost like, okay, it kind of dies down a little bit, and then we'll produce it on Epack. But like all those cards are sent out to ComC, and is stored at checkoutmycards.com, and they're just waiting for us to launch the Epack. They scan all the cards, and then you can buy the stuff on Epack. And what's cool is, so I know there's a lot of people that collect base cards, and unfortunately the digital cards or the base cards are digital only. But what you do with those base cards, it creates a community where you can trade amongst other buyers and sellers on Epack. Like, you can't sell your cards on Epack, but you can trade. And so, you know, if you like Sting, and someone else likes Jericho, I'm just using your cards in the background as the name. But you know, you can trade base cards with each other. And then what you get is actually a EPAC exclusive parallel. I believe it's like a rainbow foil board parallel of that base card. So yes, you're not getting the base cards that you would get in a regular pack of cards, physical in your hands, but you're getting the opportunity to get a rare version and an exclusive version of those cards. And then all the other inserts are still in there, the autograph, the memorabilia. And then we also do something really cool. We kind of make it fun where, you know, you can collect certain sets. Like we encourage set collecting. So collect a full set of those Wednesday in actions, and then you might get like some autograph card or some memorabilia card that's limited to the first 100 people that do it. So it kind of gets some excitement of people trying to collect those cards, and it actually creates a secondary market just on EPAC. Like some of those achievement cards that the cards that you need to get the achievements become more valuable because there's those people that are trying to collect it to get that one achievement card.
Can you imagine that, Tony?
Yeah.
You know, base set collectors being rewarded by the manufacturer for collecting. That's fantastic.
I think it's awesome. I think it's never been done before. I think it's awesome.
I Billy am a master set collector. I collect, and you know, and never thought that we'd even be considered, let alone that you guys are thinking about the way we collect and what we do. So that's also very cool.
I think it's great. I mean, I jumped all over those Epacks when it first came out because I'm like, okay, and I had to learn because I'd never done it before, so I had to educate myself on how that worked. And it was just, even as a collector, for me, for as long as I've been collecting, it was a very simple, easy process, and it wasn't complicated, and I liked it. I think it was fun.
And the EPAC packs that you'll get when the hobby packs, it'll be like a bunch of base cards and an insert card, and there's always a physical card in our EPAC packs. So you'll get those inserts and the mem and the auto and all. Those are actual physical cards that then you can transfer to ComC. So you will get a physical card in every pack of AEW. If not two, I think you might get two physical cards, because I think you'll get a gold parallel, and then you'll also get an insert card in each pack. So it's not just like getting a digital card, it's getting a bunch of stuff, like just like opening up a hobby pack, except instead of flipping through it with your hands, you just click the next button.
Yeah, I do the daily. Ever since I signed up for that EPAC, you know, from AEW stuff, I just started doing the free daily ones, just because I just enjoy opening, like having to open it up and go to the next card and the next card. And like, I said, okay, well, I like hockey. I'm just going to keep doing the hockey one. I love that.
Cool.
Those are great. What is your guys' frequency? Like, I know you said you have two coming, there'll be two this year, three next year. How are we stretching these out? Like, you know, from what to what? Like, you look at every 3 months, every 4 months? Because we got kind of in that rut with other manufacturers where it was like every single month it seemed like a product was coming out. And just as I was like getting my wallet refilled, you know, another release came out. I didn't have time to finish the previous release.
Yeah, we're not going to oversaturate the market. You know, we've seen, like you said, we've kind of seen what's happened, and again, we want these cards to maintain some value. So as of right now, like as I said, the game plan is only to do 3 sets next year, and I don't see it going. If it goes up, maybe it goes up another set or something like that. But you know, the goal is to get a set out like every 3 or 4 months.
God, that's awesome.
You want them to be
very,
able to enjoy
very
it.
doable, very comfortable number for.
That's a very comfortable number. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, that's exactly the kind of thing we like to see, because what ends up happening is that when you have to collect a set a month, you know, a big set, we also have independent sets. We also have custom cards. There's so much more in our world that we can bombarded with. And of course, we're going to gravitate to these big releases. But if all of a sudden we're getting an AEW flagship set every month, you know, before you know it, it's like enough. So it's great that that's the plan going in.
And our other goal is to really kind of meet the needs of all types of collectors, because there are set collectors, but there are, like, you know, big hit PC kind of guys and stuff. And, you know, you might see, like, as I said, there's a memorabilia set coming out. I'm super excited. And I'm super excited about the Spectrum set too, just because there's some other stuff that's never been done before in that set. We have, I think I've mentioned the Diamond Royale, the Battle Royale. We have diamond cards that maybe you've seen in other sporting sets, but I've never seen in a wrestling set. We're doing like diamond cards for all the participants of the, you know, the Diamond Battle Royale. We've got a number of different types of memorabilia with tables, with turnbuckles. We've got our banner cards where it's just like the banners that are used around the stadium, and the mat and the map and the curtain of the mat, like just a whole bunch of different stuff that AEW's looks like. They give us a list. Do you want this? Do you want this? And it's like,
you're
sure.
yes,
And
yes.
there's we got metal cards, and I wish I could show you, but we've got metal cards in the shape of folding chairs that I've seen them and they look amazing. Like, I think those are going to be really collectible. Yeah. It's called chair shots. It's kind of funny. It's a take on, if you're sitting in the first 12 rows, those chairs that you get, if for spending all that money on those good seats. And then it's also kind of like, the metal chair kind of hitting people over the head sort of thing. But, it's a really exciting set, but,
no images to share with us, nothing to share with us. Oh man.
You don't get the man in trouble, Tony.
I'm not gonna get the man in trouble. I don't want to do that at all. I'd like to have him back on again at some point.
Yeah. It'll be on the solicitation. I thought the solicitation was out. I've talked to some other people about it, and then I found out it wasn't, but we have announced it, so I can talk about it. Okay. Like, that's kind of the rule. If someone else has said something about it, then I'm gonna talk to the cows come home. But if no one's mentioned anything yet, I have to be mum.
Yeah, I got it.
But you can imagine there's other substrates and technologies and stuff that are popular with wrestling cards that we would be foolish not to create sets using such technologies and for those sets. So that's kind of the hint I'll give you on some of the stuff that might be happening in 2022.
It's just nice to see such a nice working relationship between two companies trying to put out a good product that collectors are really going to enjoy. So it seems like to be a really good marriage between you guys. And how can you say how long this relationship's supposed to last for? Like, I mean, how long do you have your license for? Do you not know, or can't say?
No, that's above my pay rate.
That's above your pay grade.
We don't go into those kind of details. One thing that's probably going to drive some of these AEW collectors crazy is, we don't go over print runs. We don't, even if it's, and we don't kind of like unannounced stuff. We won't tell you how much there are. It's just, that's just been our way.
We're used to that. We're, other than independent card sets, or really, it's always a small market anyways. We don't ever hear that from other manufacturers anyways. We're used to that. In some cases,
we might be made aware of certain print runs, and on-demand stuff. But
again, it's a rare case where if it's a print run that's on demand, those are all different things. But from an actual product that's released and put into a box, outside of serial number type of things, you just don't know what the print runs are. So we're used to that.
Like WCW autographs, we really don't know how many of each one there were. There's certain key sets in the history of the wrestling card business where it'd be nice as sort of archivists and historians of the product to be able to say, but we completely get why from a business point of view you'd not want to do that.
And honestly, sometimes that mystery just adds to the value.
100%.
It does. There's an allure not knowing, like, was there 100 or 1,000,
I have I want to play a little a game here. It's like, not a game, but I have a suggestion for product in the future. Can you take suggestions? What about hot boxes, hot packs? Let's bring that back. I think we lost him.
No.
No, you got me.
He's just stunned by the suggestion.
Am I still there?
Yeah, I got you.
You know what? I remember the old days of hot boxes and clothing and stuff, and we've done it in maybe one or two products that we built.
He went cyborg on us.
Oh, did we lose him?
No, he's just cyborging. It's all good. I've always just kind of like from the back in the day of seeing like some hot boxes and hot packs, even hot packs. Like if you get a hot pack of like, anything, like it just be all like pyro cards or something like that, or all dynamite cards, or that would have been kind of cool.
Well, they always become the more desirable ones once word gets out that there are hot packs and everyone's trying to find that one, trying to weigh the box.
But you see it like, every 9 cases or something like that. 10 cases.
All right, am I back? I see you guys moving now.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Sorry about that.
No problem.
we've done hot boxes in other products. It's not something that we normally do. It's not a bad idea. It's one of those things where it's a catch-22. Do you want to load up some boxes, which will then take away from other boxes? Or do you want that buzz of hot boxes? And it's just, it can go either way. It's a fun idea, and don't get me wrong, I used to purchase boxes of stuff that I knew had potential of getting hot boxes, and I've hit one, and it was a great feeling. Like every single card was a shiny parallel version of the base, and it's fun. But it's just a matter of then consumers getting less in the other boxes that didn't have the hot box.
True. Yeah. I know other like non-sport companies would do that once in a while. They would call it like an I think Rittenhouse used to do one called an archives box, something like that.
We never discussed this, Tony and Billy. And I this is something I heard, and it may not be true. It might just be a rumor, but from a couple of different people, I heard that they were able to determine once they opened their boxes where the relic packs were based on the positioning of the packs in the box. Have you guys heard anything about that? Did that get back to you, Billy, at all, that people were able to determine where the better packs were in the box?
We ask our vendors.
I heard that secondhand.
We ask our vendors, and we have what's called a pre-launch, where we discuss everything with our vendors and go through all the requirements and stuff. And it's always mentioned to please make sure you shuffle the packs,
Right.
because we don't want that to happen. Are there instances where it can be predictable because maybe maybe a run of the things the person that was supposed to shuffle really
Apparently
didn't.
it has been happening that some collectors or some guys breaking boxes know what packs are going to have what. And again,
I can actually firsthand attest to that based on the boxes I have opened. I can attest that was.
Yeah, is this something we shouldn't be talking about? I don't know. Again, as a secondary guy,
It's not whether it's something that I can tell you. We give specific directions on how to package the packs, and if that's executed correctly, that shouldn't happen.
that shouldn't happen.
If it's not executed correctly, it can happen, and when it does, it's unfortunate,
Right.
because we don't want that to happen for consumers, because we don't want cherry picking.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that can happen in a run of cards.
Well, you just mentioned,
just put it that way.
you can attest to it. So have you
Yeah,
experienced it
based on the
firsthand?
one I got, and I noticed like from the boxes I opened up, and I'm watching people do box breaks of this product, which is something that I'm kind of just getting into now as a collector. Watching people do box breaks is kind of fun. But I had noticed that my boxes have this seal on it, and right here that closes the box, where I've seen other people just rip open boxes didn't have that seal. And I was kind of wondering what that possibly meant, or like were all boxes supposed to have a
If you're
seal
afraid
right
about
here?
cherry picking packs, that's where it becomes an issue. If all of a sudden you can buy an unshrink wrap box, then we don't know that it hasn't been handled after the fact, right?
So when I talked to Chuckster, who's our lead archivist on for the website for Checklist, his boxes he bought, because he bought like 3 over here, 2 over here, 2 over here. He said only some of them had this seal on it right here underneath, like it's just a regular circular seal. All of mine in that case have it, and so I was just it just seemed kind of weird to me. I don't know.
I've been hearing that the ones that would be a little heavier or have relic cards in them potentially were all in the same position in the box,
Well.
box after box after box. And again, like you say, that's probably.
But then talking with Chuckster, his wasn't the case like that. So he had various from different
No.
sources, and so he
But
got
I have heard from others,
Yeah.
and again, it's just secondhand people
it's
telling
just
me stuff.
secondhand stuff. But moving on from seating, go ahead, Billy.
Really, can I ask about the foreign market?
I can tell you.
No.
I can tell you that it's not in the same position all the time.
Yeah, gotcha.
I can definitely say that, because my case, it wasn't in the same position. But and that goes for all the inserts. Is it predictable? There's, like I said, if you see a lot of stuff opened, there are definitely exceptions to what everybody's saying. So I'll take it as you will. I just know my case didn't have the same spot every time. And we do a case check. Like, that's part of the fun part of working for Upper Deck is I get to open up cases of cards to make sure. And I sit there and I have to like checklist everything and make sure that everything falls according to how it's going to fall, because then we can send that information on to our vendor. And so I got to open up a case of AEW, and one of the first things I do is it's like I'll get a group of people, because I want them to see the product also, like our coordinator and some of our QC people, and I'll say start on this pack right here, and so we just kind of go in order, and then when I see discrepancies, then we stop with the whole thing. But until there's a discrepancy, we all go in order of the box and the packs of which one, or to make sure that the inserts aren't falling in the exact same spot of every box.
That's good.
Cool.
Good
Can
quality.
can I ask Billy about the foreign market? I'm in Toronto, Canada. And there's no, like, and it's not you guys, it's Walmart. Like on Walmart CA, there's no AEW product. So it probably won't end up in retail. As far as I know, there is no wrestling cards of any description. And the way it works up here is you guys have your, what you call your certified diamond dealers that are allowed to sell into the Canadian market specifically. And the prices is in line. We're about 350 Canadian a box, which is about 200 or whatever it is. It equates. But in the past, we've seen like Topps had their UK division and they would put out certain releases. Are you guys going to be expanding to other parts of the world and offering a geographic specific product, or is it all going to be just the main product being distributed globally?
As far as I know, it's just going to be the main product distributed globally.
Right.
I'm not sure how it works with like, again, that's kind of a different department that deals with who the products go out to. They just give me numbers and say, you're building this many blasters, you're building this many hobby cases, you're building this many EPAC cases. And I go from there, and they kind of determine. And we have, a lot of times there'll be a separate line for international, and that could be Canada, that can be, China, that could be a bunch of different places. So, and I don't know how many that is compared to, what they're expecting, but I don't see us doing a Canadian exclusive AEW, is what I'm saying.
Or a UK version of something.
Right. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, the company itself isn't, I mean, it's going to be international, but it's not around the world yet. So in time, potentially, maybe, but in the short term, that's not the plan. Interesting.
Yeah. When are we going to see? We need to have a EPAC version of Danhausen now. We've got to get him in there. We got to get him in there. I'm sure he's coming.
We're you saw the preview cards, and I think something in the works here is like we have what's called game dated moments too, where when new stuff happens, and that's going to allow us to really get like if there's a crazy match, or if there's a new wrestler come in, we can do that. Like in hockey, we had our game dated moments, and Lucas Raymond, I'm a homer, I'm a Red Wings fan. He doesn't have a card out, but he does have a game dated moment card. So a lot of people are like, well, this is technically his first card, is this game dated moment card, because he doesn't have a regular, it's not his rookie card, but it'll be like his first card that's out. Right. So there's the opportunity for that when things get going, that we're gonna have some sort of EPAC platform, whether it's weekly or bi-weekly or every pay-per-view or something like that, where we put additional cards for the consumers to collect.
Nice.
That's offered me. I got two more things, and I'll let you go. I know you're a busy guy, so I got two more things. You mentioned something about, you said it several times now, rookie cards. What was the determination not putting an RC logo on cards for some of these guys? I know you briefly talked about this with our good friends over at the Card Foundation, and just kind of curious to kind of reiterate that.
So sorry, are you guys doing it or not? You're not doing it.
We're still not sold on it. We're still not. It hasn't been determined yet.
Okay.
It's an internal discussion that we are still, like, I actually brought it up, and we're still. It's one of those we need to talk about it sort of things, because
well, it's all good till you get it wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a story.
Like I said, there's so many. There's so many like independent like sets out there, and
exactly,
and the definition of rookie, and all, it's
such an ongoing debate in our hobby. It's such an ongoing debate. I mean, you guys got
it never ends with us.
I mean, you got a perfect candidate right now that absolutely deserves to have an RC logo on his card slate. That's going to be Hook. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yes, of course. But the question is, and here's kind of the counterpoint. Did we need it on this first set? Is the first set still doing, it seems to be doing quite well.
Oh yeah, very well. Yeah.
That's not necessary.
Is it gonna add more value or not? And that's an internal discussion that we need to have. I know I've said in other interviews, it's like, yeah, we're looking into putting it on the next set. But that was potentially me jumping the gun. because I've heard a lot of feedback, but now, we've heard other feedback from other people saying, it's maybe not necessary because of the confusion. So like I said, that's going to be an internal discussion that hasn't been finalized yet.
Interesting. Yeah,
I wish I had an answer for you.
I'm not really. I mean, I'm not really thrilled about having. I mean, I know some people are like, well, you put that RC logo on there,
Worth more.
and that just makes it worth more. And as someone who doesn't really, again, I'm someone who doesn't care anyways. I'm collecting for what I collect.
Same
So
here, because we know that there's plenty of cards out there that are stamped rookie cards that aren't, and we know that.
We know that, so we don't really care.
With independent stuff, it's tricky because like there's all these independent guys, and they're making trading cards now, as we know. And there's lots of guys in the AEW set that have come from the indies, and we have their independent cards. So the question becomes a first appearance. Yep. We used to use.
Yeah.
We like you saying first appearance because that's indisputable if you get the dates right. But what's an actual rookie? And then, certain performers have 5 or 6 different names that they go by, et cetera, et cetera. It gets confusing. So it's good that you guys are treating it seriously as a discussion, because it's not all so cut and dry that, okay, this is how it should be.
I'm going to.
Yeah. And there is the opportunity to put go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There is the opportunity to put I let you go and then I talked. I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I said go right ahead.
Oh, okay. There is the opportunity, like you said, to put first AEW card. That's an obvious one. We're the only one that put AEW cards out. So technically we could put this first set would be everything would say first AEW card.
Yeah.
But then you run into the question, and I've seen it with competitors. It's just okay, first first whatever card, but then they have maybe the sets come out at different times and it overlaps and it doesn't come out the first time, or they have first card on multiple different sets. And it's just kind of well, that's technically not their first card because they had a card in another set.
So what do you do? When you're making these decisions.
There's a lot of confusion.
Yeah. I say just leave it as is, man, and then just let the market decide. The market will always dictate. The market always decides what's going to be the valuable one, what's going to be the card to go collect. So, it'll be a debate that goes on for ages, especially when it comes to wrestling.
But we know full well the market's not always right, but
it's not always right when it comes to saying stuff, but eventually it's going to dictate and lead that way and say this is the money card to have.
But if you do stamp a rookie card on there, what you're doing is you're putting your foot in the sand and saying, okay, we're saying that this is it. So you better be right.
Yeah, exactly. In this set for you, Billy, what is your favorite card in this set?
Oh, geez. I would originally I see it in your thing. The dotted line card I thought was a really cool design. Those were intended to be hard signed. And so I was really looking forward to having some hard signed content in this first set. And unfortunately, it was just a matter of timing and we weren't able to get everything going on time. So
do you think we might get on-card autos eventually, Bill?
There will be, yes. Like you mentioned, the fact of us being tricky of getting that CM Punk card in there, we found ways to get some hard signed content. It's very difficult to get the cards and get these guys all together at certain times, especially when we're limited with where they're going to be and everything, because they haven't even come out to the West Coast yet. Nope. I've been begging for even a Vegas show to happen soon because I want to go watch it.
Yeah.
But they've kind of stayed in the Midwest and East Coast and stuff. So I think they got something coming up in Texas. Maybe they make their way out here. But there is some potential for some hard signed content that will be a surprise for some people. But
highly collectible for sure.
Yeah, we understand that people like hard sign. It makes the consumer hey, this wrestler actually touched this card, that sort of thing. Yeah. And the signature is still the same. It's just a matter of whether it's they touched this card. Yeah. So we would like to do something, but I really like the design of those cards. As I said, I thought it was cool having the pyro parallels were one of my favorites too. I just like the designs on the cards. I like shiny too. There's a lot of people that just like shiny.
Yeah.
So those are probably like a couple of my favorite inserts that we put out there. I'm telling you, speaking of inserts, what's great is, you know, being able to kind of think of insert ideas for future sets. And, you know, a lot of times you just see insert sets that are just, you know, kind of like, here's a character card, or here's so-and-so's career. And yeah, we did a career, kind of a fun one with Cody Rhodes, with a little play on his name.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of inserts coming up that are really relatable to wrestling fans. Almost to the point where I had a few insert names that I thought were really clever and fun, and AEW is just like, yeah, you know, we know what you're talking about, but we don't really mention, like, a lot of slang for wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, we don't really mention that sort of thing with action, because you gotta, you know, this is going to the casual wrestling fan too, not just the diehards. And I'm just like, oops. So I had to kind of rein back a little bit on some of my insert names and kind of change a couple of them. But, you know, as I said, you're dealing with a lot of guys that are pretty knowledgeable and have been following wrestling for quite a number of years. So, you know, we've got like the dotted line, you know, that's, you know, how many times have you seen, like, okay, they have the big desk in the middle of the ring, and you know, they're signed on the dotted line, and they, you know, the contracts and stuff, you know, just stuff that's relatable to wrestling. And so we have a lot of fun. And I even mentioned like the diamond cards with the Diamond Battle Royale. You know, how convenient is that?
Yeah.
The canvas cards are perfect. When I mentioned about like cards, and another insert that I really love, I love the canvas cards in hockey. And I immediately, when I knew we were doing this, I was just like, it's a no-brainer to put canvas cards in the wrestling. And the other thing about those cards is, you know, as I mentioned, I collect autographed, or I get cards autographed myself.
Those
cards
beautifully.
are perfect to get signed.
Yeah, they're good.
Those things are perfect to get signed. It's tough, you know, it's tougher to do that rub down on the UV for the base cards, but those canvas cards should sign flawlessly. So if you're one of those collectors, I recommend getting as many of the canvas cards as you can.
But these are nice little details that you guys are paying attention to that make all the difference in the world to we collectors, that you're thinking like to that degree about how these things can work out and overall give a better you know, experience to the guy that gets the card, which is nice for a change.
Yeah, when we were just talking before we were doing the interview a few days ago, I think I had even mentioned I've wanted to do a wrestling set for so long. Like I was telling our higher ups, I'm like, can you get the glow license? I'm like, just give me any wrestling license. Like, let's do something, because I wanted to do a wrestling set for
there
quite
are no
some
glow
time.
cards out there, by the way. That's never happened. There's never been a glow set.
What was that?
There's never been a glow set.
Well, I meant from the TV show.
Yeah,
from
the
TV
That's what I'm
show.
talking about. Yeah, there's
no, I know
it's
it's still out there. And what's funny is, like, I was like thinking of all the retro stuff we can do. And one thing that AEW has been, I don't want to say adamant about, because it's not like they're in our ear yelling at us or anything, but one thing that they stressed is we don't want like this vintage look. We want something new. We want it to look fresh. We want it to look modern. So that was a big deal with them. And, you know, we've got you know, some classic designs and stuff, but, you know, we've definitely stayed away from that. And the other thing that, you know, we wanted to establish is we want to give you your own designs. Like, we're not gonna take you know, we have a Upper Deck Series 1 hockey, which is very comparable to the first series of AEW, but from a standpoint of how it's built. But we didn't want to copy the design. We didn't want to, you know, use another flagship design to copy. We wanted to give them their own designs and own inserts and stuff. So that's one thing that we've really stressed also, is that everything that AEW is getting is for AEW. It's not from another sport, which I think you see a lot elsewhere.
Yep. A lot of borrowing from other things. Yep. And I like that it's a unique brand. So why not give it its own unique design?
Yeah, people run out of ideas and then they start to beg, borrow, and steal from other places. But again, for your first one, it's good that you took this approach and said, we need something that's going to really knock their socks off. And you did it.
I asked him
Yep.
for, his favorites like that. And like a true parent, he doesn't want to pick out anyone specifically. He's like, it's like, all
Yeah.
my kids are beautiful. They're all wonderful. I love them all.
I have to
Well,
say, I was very impressed with those 3 EPAC cards. Just the fact that you got them out, never mind, when the whole set was printed. But I like those 3 cards. I mean, I didn't think that we'd see a Daniel Bryan or CM Punk card, or Adam Cole. So that for me, those were my 3 favorites.
love,
And they're
I
doing well
love
on
it.
the secondary market. Those promo cards now are doing very well on the secondary market, as is the uncut sheet from the New York convention. But those promos in
Yep.
particular, they're going for like 30-40 bucks a piece now.
I had to
So
beg, borrow, and steal, man, for the sheets I got because I'm not in New
they're worth
York, man.
they're worth about $25 a piece now, so they're doing well too. Uncut as just a sheet.
You know what? You know what else has been selling too? Is Upper Deck, our Christmas card. And
I saw that.
Give me 2 seconds. Give
Yeah.
me 2 seconds.
I got to get my hands on a Christmas card, man.
Yeah, someone had one of those.
I need that. We're supposed to just ignore the Ronda Rousey pictures in the back.
Oh, you saw it?
No, I'm kidding.
I've got my my Upper Deck Christmas card.
Ah, I
very
love
cool.
it. That's awesome.
And I saw these on the secondary market. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love
we
AEW fans.
collect
They are
everything,
like
man.
passionate.
Yeah, even to the point like I don't collect anymore. And I'm like, I think
I
I want to
collect.
try and go out and get that.
Yeah.
I got to go get that just to say I have it.
Ask message Chris Carlin. Message him again and say, hey, Billy said that I should get a Christmas card.
I did mention to you when I talked last week. I said, hey, someone had reached out and blah, blah, blah. And I got this wonderful card in the mail that came to me with a nice personalization in the back from Paul. And I thought that was very nice of him, and just kind of welcoming me and WTC to Upper Decks like that, which was really, I thought was very thoughtful and nice. And I'm really kind of hoping going forward that we can build a good relationship with you guys in the sense of helping us clarify what exists and what doesn't exist from a checklist standpoint.
Of course, I'm on lots of social media. I talk hockey cards, I talk wrestling cards and whatever. And I'm available anytime you guys want. And from a checklist standpoint, we do like distribute that checklist out, and they might be able to get you on the list of who
It'd
they
be nice.
put
I
that
mean,
out to. Cause
I've always tried years and years from every
we'll send it out
manufacturer.
to,
But stuff like that Punk card that all of a sudden nicely got slipped in, we don't know about it till someone finds it. So anything
Well,
along
that
those lines,
I understand, because that becomes like a secret little, hey,
Sure.
I get that. Those are cool things, but to clarify checklists ahead of time, like this is a preliminary checklist. And obviously it'll be upgraded and updated as the release comes out, because certain things like the Miro card replaced
Right.
whatever it was, C8, I believe it was, replaced whoever it was that was supposed to be C8, ended up being Miro instead.
you remember
So-
back in Flair days, it was almost guaranteed
was
that
almost guaranteed.
one of the autographs or one of the inserts on the Excel spreadsheet wasn't made or didn't find its way into production.
But just
But
having a relationship with the manufacturer is always a nice thing,
Yeah.
because, for WTC, we've been around now, this is our 20th anniversary this year, being around as WTC. And before that, we were kind of known as ComCollect. But, as WrestlingTradingCards.com this December and end of this year, it's 20 years. And people kind of, and the grading companies kind of rely on us to having this accurate information to authenticate things, especially from a PSA or a Beckett, whoever. They oftentimes use our website to help authenticate things. We're not pricing things, we're not selling things. So it comes from our site as like, okay, this is legit, it's real, it exists here, we see it, it's been documented, kind of thing.
Well, because we spend a lot of time trying to get it right, so
Yep.
that when we do the updates to the pages, that to the best of our knowledge, from what we can see firsthand in the market, here's what we believe the case to be.
Yep. So I'm excited to
Yeah,
hopefully have that relationship.
we do our best. 2 weeks before release, we try to put out a checklist we'll send it off to stuff like Cardboard Connections and to other different groups and Blowout, like those sort of groups. We can talk to our people to try to add people to lists. I can bring it up, or the gentleman that you're talking to, Paul. that sent you the letter. He's one of the guys that that kind of does that also. So that'd be a great person to contact about bringing out the checklist. But yeah, usually about 2 weeks beforehand, we'll put out a checklist, and then we'll put out an image gallery of kind of like the cards. Now, like that Punk card, we call those Easter eggs. We like to kind of put like little secret hidden things in there. Sometimes it confuses people. Sometimes it's it surprises people and they love it. Like one of the things that drives people crazy is when we do photo variations and we don't tell it and we don't put it on the card. And it's just like, oh no, you guys actually have to look at your base cards to be able to tell the difference. Oh, that's what collecting's all about. Enjoy your cards.
That's
when
part
you're
of the
used to
fun.
people
Sure.
just flipping through. So, we do have our Easter eggs, and there'll be times where we will, after the fact, we might put out some sort of like, okay, hey, here's the checklist of all the photo variations. Other times you can kind of go on some websites, and what they'll do is they just have people giving them data. Like, hey, I just found, the photo variation of Miro in this set. And then they just add it to this whole list of different things. And then down the road, I might confirm, hey, there's 13 of these, or hey, there's, these are the people that have this, or yes, there are Punk autograph cards in there. So it might, and you wouldn't be bothering me if after the fact you sit there and say, hey, what's this card? And, are there this? And I might be able to answer you. I might not, but I can definitely help out with any kind of information that you're looking for.
Yeah, every bit of information. I've taken it to a different level in this last year now, as opposed to previous years, because of just like, that's my hobby. My hobby is gathering information and trying to educate the market of what's out there. And I get more joy out of being more accurate and getting the information. I mean, I've taken to the point now where I'm grabbing UPC numbers on the packs of boxes, packs, whatever. I mean, everything. To me, too much information isn't enough information.
We take it seriously to get it right, which is why I enjoy it so much, is that we're not doing it sort of half-ass. Is that, okay, we've committed to doing this for the hobby and we do it well, I think.
Yep. So
yeah,
we got a lot of plans for this year too, for really celebrating 20 years. So
a bunch of things coming.
But Billy, I know we talked for a long time. We can talk wrestling cards and wrestling as a whole for hours. I mean, it's just it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for making the time for us, Billy. I really appreciate it.
Really do.
Oh, no worries.
I hope
not like there's any.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
As other releases come out, I really hope that we can get you back on again as other releases and discuss, the cool things that Upper Deck's putting out as it comes out. It'd be kind of cool. And just, I love this kind of stuff. So,
yeah, just anytime. Yeah. I enjoy talking wrestling for sure.
And so, but Paul, how people find you, Paul?
Paul Anand, thewrestlingcardpriceguide.com, and I'm most active on Twitter, card_guide. Tony?
Everything's at wrestlingtradingcards.com. Go to that site on the bottom of every single page, and there's hundreds of them with checklists. Every social media contact's on there, and you can just find us that way. And engage, man. Just share the hobby. And how about with you, Billy? How can people find you if they have questions?
You can email me at Billy_Celio@upperdeck.com. I'm also on Instagram, just regular Billy Celio. And you can, if you want, have any questions, feel free to message me on there, and I'll see what I can do.
Can't give away all the secrets, man. We got to have some surprises coming up. So,
yep.
Always want to have something, but you can't get everything you want. So. With that, guys, I do appreciate everybody's time coming on.
Thanks very much, guys.
And I got nothing else, man. With that, I just say that we are out.